alaikum, everybody. So today we are going to begin with session 8 of the book Miftahul Hayat, written by Ayatollah Jawadi Amali. And I am sharing this information about the book since it's only written in Persian, based on the lectures of an esteemed scholar, Sheikh Shamali. So as we have been, progressively talking about learning and teaching, today the topic is basically about learning a few sciences which are recommended in Islam. So let's start with, the religious sciences. So learning religious sciences is very important and it's very encouraged. So we have a hadith from the 8th Imam where the Imam says, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy be upon one who revives our affairs, who gives life to our affairs. So here, it is not only important that the knowledge is there in the books. Knowledge needs to be brought out of books into the life of people. So that it is beneficial to people. And the question was asked to the Imam that how do we revive? The Imam aptly responds, telling that by learning our teachings and sharing it with people. So basically sharing our knowledge not only with the Shias but with general public as well. But we have to take precautions when we are transmitting knowledge, when we're sharing knowledge to people. We don't say everything to everybody. We've got to say to people that which is Mahasin and Nas, right? Which is Mahasin for Nas, which is beneficial for Nas. So that when they hear it, they relate to it and they enjoy its benefits. They say that, wow, it makes a lot of sense. We've got to use hikmah when we are transmitting the knowledge of Ahlulbait. So going forward, the Imam talks about ta'aleem. Ta'aleem and teaching, it is just not something where we pass information, or it is not something we just make sure that the other person remembers. A beautiful explanation given here by the scholar. It is what grows in your heart, and it is what you put into their heart, and then it grows there as well. So he gave an example of a flower in a garden. So if we grow flower in our garden, and if we just pluck the flower out and give it to somebody, the flower's life is over there, right? It's going to be there for some time and it's going to get destroyed. But if it grows in your garden and you ensure by giving them the appropriate, crop or the soil and the whole thing, so that he can go and plant it in his garden and the flower grows in his garden as well, so that even he can benefit. That's the best way of how you can transmit knowledge. It is never mind to mind. And going forward, the 11th Imam again says, there's another, hadith, which I'm paraphrasing from 11th Imam. I'm just going to, paraphrase the hadith. It's not going to be word to word, but it's something which I'm picking up from the lecture. The 11th Imam, alayhi salam, Imam Hasan al-Askari alayhi salam says, people who teach our knowledge will receive high position in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Going forward, other kind of teaching is teaching Quran and teaching hadith. So teaching kids Quran, we've got to ensure that we teach our kid Quran. There's a beautiful story related to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, where a child of Imam Hussein alayhi salam was taught Alhamd by a teacher, and the Imam alayhi salam gifted the teacher handsomely. And people were surprised when he gifted the teacher, like 1,000 dirhams and beautiful things. And alpha is the Arabic word for thousand. So Imam gave him quite a lot of gifts. And people were surprised. People around were surprised that then the Imam alayhi salam said that the teacher's gift to Imam alayhi salam's son of teaching the Holy Quran was much greater. And just on the side note, this son is definitely not going to be Imam Sajjad. It is some other son of the Imam alayhi salam. And if you can ask, like, why didn't the Imam teach himself? Sometimes it is better despite of you being a scholar, to get your teacher, to get your son taught by somebody else, such that there are no formalities, and sometimes it's easier, or sometimes if you're busy. So that is one of these occasions. Going forward, there's a hadith from Imam Bakr alayhi salam, fifth Imam, paraphrasing it. So there's something about competing. So when we compete, we should not compete only for dunya. We should compete for taqwa. We should compete for doing good. We should compete for learning. So the Imam says that one hadith of haram or halal, explaining you what is haram, what is halal, you know, which you learn from a person who is sadiq. This is the important point. Don't learn from anybody. You learn from a person who's sadiq. It is better than the whole of dunya and whatever the dunya is carrying within it. All like the gold, the silver, whatever the dunya is carrying in terms of that sort of precious materials. So some people don't understand, like, how can just learning one hadith of haram or halal is better than this. So the scholar explains, like, certain spiritual benefits are incomparable. We don't realize this. It's because we are not very clear about how important the world is and how important akhirah is. Akhirah is much greater. So he gives an example telling that if somebody asks you, like, is your son, you love your son better, or you love $1 million worth of money better? So naturally, or you love your son better, or you love your father better, or is $1 million of money better? So that time you're going to come and tell him that, stop joking. How can you compare, my son or my father's, the love I have for them, more with money, right? Similarly, that's the concept or the context you've got to consider when you listen to such hadith. And towards the end, there was a person who came to the first Imam, this hadith of Imam Ali alayhi salam. A person tells the Imam alayhi salam that I want to do tijara. Tijara, business is very much encouraged. Some occupations are encouraged, like, agriculture, farming. And tijara is very much encouraged in Islam. The Imam said that, do you know the fiqh, the rules and the regulations, the Islamic rulings before you start your business? He said that, Imam, I'll do the business and then I will learn. The Imam said that you have to do your learning of fiqh before you start your business. Similarly, before we do any business, we've got to learn the rules or regulations of the country or the land, before you start doing business. And like how beautifully Sheikh Shomali ends all his lectures with a dua, he says that, we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the gift of learning and teaching, and also to give sehat to all the maris, Allahumma shfi kulli maris, and of all our ulama, may Allah bless all our ulama, and may Allah give us peace and tranquility to all the mu'min all around the world. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Jazakallah khair.